Not gonna lie, gotta cut the intro short right there because my eyes are elsewhere because I'm on the clock. I'm on the clock already. I saw this $10 was at 98%, and I just had to keep pumping. But I love Nez. Where's the button? There it
You
is.
do love me.
I do love Nez, but I do love the fact that they have now introduced a 20 max contest for these showdown slates in the lobby, negating some of the classic all that matters is volume and chasing those GMs. What do you think, man?
Love it. I couldn't be more of a fan of the 20 max. And to be honest, I think hot take, maybe you start to implement like a 50 max for these contests moving forward, just because I think depending on what happens in this slate here, because we'll find out Sunday morning, uh you know, some people aren't like too pleased with the way the winning lineups look sometimes. And
Okay.
if you introduce a 50 max, you kind of put a little bit of a stop to that. But I think then you limit contest size. So just something that I'm just like, my little side tangent. But 20 max for a second contest is like chef's kiss. It's brilliant. And shout out to the good people at Underdog for making that decision.
Yeah, I think it's really smart because effectively we're playing the same slate twice. So a little wrinkle in deviation, like they did with the other one. We had the 3-man, then they turned it into a 4-man for the second contest, doing like little wrinkles like that. So you're not just drafting the same thing over and over again. Feels really good. I'm on the clock here.
That's okay. I can vamp.
I'm not going to freeze out at tight end. No, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up.
Okay. I will say I do think a three person draft for this slate would be like pretty awesome. I'm not sure what a proper price point would be for that, since the Hail Mary's about to fill, so really no issues with that $100 one. This $5 20 max will almost certainly fill. I think what do you think? Maybe like a $15 3-person contest, maybe.
3-person as in 3 max, or 3-person lobbies?
3-person lobbies. I think that would be like I love 3-person lobbies on these slates. Like I think that's like the nuts.
Let's talk through a couple things. I think this is really smart. The first thing I want to talk through is, do you think 3-person lobbies play better for 2-game slates than 4? Because it introduces more of the quote unquote GM style lineups to everybody, that people are less pissed off when they see a super outlier form of lineup. Do you agree with that stance there?
I think that is like a big part of it, is like you there's less tilting when a lineup wins that you feel you may or may not have had access to, whether or not that's true or not. It's just the way it tastes when you don't win sometimes.
Okay.
With the 3-person, but I guess there is a like you obviously like greatly increase your chances of duping in the 3-person contests. So like maybe a limited entries on that could be beneficial. It's just my personal preference. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just I know that I enjoy drafting the 3-person lobbies more than the 4-persons, but it just takes some reps to kind of get a feel for these ones.
I think the site likes the 3-person lobbies more than the 4 sometimes because the fill rates are higher and faster, right?
Yeah, definitely faster and usually higher.
We're going to go ahead and take David Montgomery here and just build this.
What's your team look like here before you hit draft?
I got a Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Calvin Ridley, Luke Musgrave team. And we're going to go ahead and just go all in on Detroit. I actually don't love Detroit tonight, to be honest, but we'll talk about that in a bit here. Okay, so this leads me to another question, and it's really nice actually that we have a draft board up for this. As you can see, non-Badger room here where things are going a little bit different than normal because you see Sam Laporta go at 5 there, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking through how winning rosters, like the winning optimal roster, will be constructed tonight. And I'm thinking through the fact that this draft window has been open for like 2.5 days, right? For the $10 contest.
Right.
Number 1, you push quarterback as far as you can possibly push it, and you end up with someone not named Ritter. So if you get a last round quarterback that's not Desmond Ritter, I think you have a chance of winning tonight. Number 2, if you have a screaming Q tag roster where your 6th round pick is Watson or Aaron Jones, or even maybe David Montgomery, though I obviously like the former better than the latter. I think that's another path. And then the other path for me would be pushing tight end as far as you can push it. And you end up in a room that does what this room did, single tight end, because I've been seeing a lot of bully tight end in these lobbies so far with some badged up players, because the 5th tight end projects better than like the 6th or 7th wide receiver playing whack-a-mole, right?
Yeah.
You push tight end as far as you can, you end up where everybody only takes one, and you end up with like a decent one and hella flex value because of that. Those are my 3 paths I've illustrated right now. I don't know, where are you at with that kind of, just how's that sit with you?
Yeah, this slate in particular, man, feels like one where a lineup's gonna and I mean, like, I know we do a lot of work for the site, but I'm just saying this feels like a slate where the winning lineup is gonna be something that pisses me off. Just straight up, man. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't do a lot of volume because of that. It's just to me, with the 4-person drafts, it just feels like you are drafting a lot and hoping that you get one of these no badgers that follows projections too closely or has some wacky shit go on. And me personally, that's just not something I like to dump a lot of volume into. So that's where I come in with the other contests, where if you want to get unique and get that one-off piece that maybe does separate, you can actually do that in the 3-person without just like, I don't know, hoping, and just praying. Like, I did a Hail Mary. I did $100 Hail Mary, because that's how I wanted to get my volume in on this, is just like do something like that where I feel like there's going to be less, luck boxing. And my last round pick was like Tyler Algier, and that felt like not great, but also, I mean, I don't feel like there's going to be a lot of stacked teams in that contest. And but I guess my point is like, I would like to take Tyler Algier, someone like him on this slate, out of like my own volition, like trying to get cute, as opposed to just like, well, it's Tyler Algier or like Craig Reynolds,
Right.
like,
No,
and so that's just, I mean, that's just like where I'm at with these. They're a lot of fun, and I still play like hundreds of dollars worth of entries in these slates, like even when they're up. But I'm just, just chatting.
No, absolutely. Yeah. No, I think it's good. It's good discourse to find the perfect balance in what the optimal draft structure would be, because we did this over and over again last year when they were single games. And then all of a sudden we added kickers to those single games. Then we added QBs to those single games, and we progressively got better and better. And now we're at a point where we think we're better, but we're not best, right?
Correct.
And the 3-team, I do agree with you, because let's just look at last week. Olamide Zacchinius becomes a choice, not a, well, he's the 3rd wide receiver and now he's 12% owned in the contest. Instead, he becomes a leverage choice and piece to scroll that far, right?
Yep.
And even though it looks like you're sacrificing more in those 3-person contests, you're gaining more leverage by sacrificing, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because you're also not seeding like a super gigantic super team in projection by doing that, because everybody's team is pretty stacked. If you do take that Olamide pick, whether it's at the 3-1 or 3-3, well, obviously 3-3, you're not really giving up anything there. But even if you do it at the 3-1, you're not really giving up a ton of projected points by getting crazy there, and you gain the leverage. But I will say, with the 4-person contest here, you kind of mentioned a non-Desmond Ridder team has to be drafted in order to win tonight. And maybe I've done a little too much coping on some of my Ridder teams. I feel like that's actually not the case. And it's because of kind of what you mentioned at the top, just briefly. You said you weren't like in love with the Lions tonight, right? Like,
Jared Goff is notably worse on the road for the entirety of his career.
Right. Yeah. It's market. Like you could see that. And for me, I'm like, well, both of these games could just not be good and go like below 40. And if that's the case, none of these dudes are probably separating over Ridder, if that's the case. So I'm like, okay, if I get left with Ridder, But in the $100, if I was to do another entry in that, I would not want to be left with a Ritter
That's
to be
fair.
frank. But for these larger entries, I'm okay if I get left with Ritter and maybe have him stacked. Maybe he connects with Kyle Pitts on an ADOT like that we kind of saw last week. So I just want to say I am okay if I get left with Ritter.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's fair. I mean, it's
but
yeah, well, I mean, it's fair because also if it is a low scoring slate, like we talk range outcomes, we go, hey, divisional game over here, weird travel game to London over here. These don't play up to their 20-point team implied totals, doesn't play up to the 43.5, doesn't play up to the 46, and you just go, yeah, this is going to be some gross football. Well, maybe only 8 points from Desmond Ritter is like enough to hold serve if your 4 flex positions are like Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, Bijan, and Ridley. Like you were somehow able to obtain that combination, and then you just pushed Ritter and ended up with like Jonnu Smith and Ritter for a combined 14, 18 points, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like the path is there. He's surrounded with talent. But it's an interesting matchup there. I don't know if we want to get into like the games themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Let's I want to hit on the chat because chat is buzzing today, and we're back on the channel. So we got the emotes going, we got the subs, we got the GMs, we got everyone wondering where Neumy is. Neumy is so hungover after celebrating his 21st birthday. No, Neumy went out golfing for his birthday with another buddy today that didn't line up yesterday, and this was an impromptu show and whatnot. So we gave the kid the day off. We just hey son, take a day. You worked so hard, right? Like,
hit those links. Yeah, little like you gotta like ease your way out of a birthday. You celebrate a birthday. It's hard to go from a birthday to just the next day. You gotta ease your way out of a birthday. And a little housekeeping. I know everybody here is subbed, of course, because why wouldn't you be? Obviously, I know I respect our viewers. I know you guys are subbed. But if you haven't hit the like, go ahead and hit like for us. That would be beneficial. And just want to say thank you for the support. I know we are jumping around a lot of channels lately. Got some things cooking, but you guys are always here with us despite the jumping around. So I just want to say we appreciate you guys for your support. We know you got a lot of things that you can watch on YouTube, and we're glad you're here.
Breaking news from our guy Oaks in the chat here. Rumor has it Oaks is a stick, by the way. Went golfing with Neumy last week, and Neumy spilled the beans. Said Oaks can swing it. That's least surprising development of the day. I'm sure he's got some Ryder Cup sweats going on here. But we got new contest in the lobby here. We got that fullback dive, $3 3-person drafts. Whoa. 20 max. I'm really loving the experimentation here with these 2 game slates. I mean, we have been very outspoken about loving the draft cap on certain ones, right? Like I love 3 max 100. I love 8 max 100 on the weekends. I love 10 max $3. I love 10 max $5, 15, like this sort of thing. Yeah. It makes drafting fun and not just like chasing the dragon. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. So shout out to Oaks, shout out to Underdog for giving us some options here, because these are all going to fill regardless, man. You guys, the product's too good. It's going to fill.
Yeah.
You're hilarious for trying to enter that. Oh, wow. What? I thought it was filled.
Come on, man.
I thought you were about to get
I got that flop flag.
Denied. What?
I wanted to before we jump in those ones, I want to still do one of these $10 ones while it's still open, get my volume up in there. I think I'm at 30, something like that. And I don't have any real early in the week GM style builds. I shared one with you this morning that I think is probably my favorite team thus far. But let's talk about the slate.
The team you just finished up was nasty, by the way. That was
it's good. Yeah,
David Montgomery being your last pick is pretty sick.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's going to take to win tonight. Is I think you're going to need one of those Q tags to end up being your last pick, and it not be paired with Desmond Ritter. That's how I'm viewing the slate. I view AJ Dillon could fall into the end zone. Tank Bigsby could fall into the end zone. They feel like very similar bets to me. I mean, Dillon's obviously going to see a little bit more volume there. I imagine somewhere in the 8 to 11 touch range. but I'm not happy clicking his name. I'm not happy clicking Tyler Algier's name. Both the usages are trending in the wrong direction. I have been really prioritizing the skill positions. And as you can see, with all the green I have ranked at the top here, I've really been prioritizing the running back position up high.
Yeah, I don't blame you there at all. Like Bijan has been my 101. I've had to consider it very strongly with Amon-Ra because I mean, wide receiver isn't necessarily like the deepest thing in the world either, but Bijan's ceiling is it's like 10 points higher than Amon-Ra's.
Right.
So it's
Right.
got to be Bijan for me, but I can understand people giving it pause for sure.
Yeah, some good Amon-Ra news. Well, obviously he's been dealing with the toe thing. Doesn't seem to be much of an issue now. But they're expected to get Decker back tonight, so little offensive line reinforcement. And I think on the other side of the ball, the Packers are going to be without Jair Alexander again. So he doesn't usually travel into the slot, so maybe wouldn't have been that kind of like matchup on Amon-Ra, but just the fact that he's not on the field is a good thing for the wide receiver corp of
Has to be
the Lions. Exactly.
Has to be.
Some other injury ones tonight. Obviously, the Christian Watson is now expected. The Aaron Jones is expected. David Montgomery is expected, but David Bakhtiari is not. And this Lions defense absolutely feasted last week. Who's this for you? I like ATN by like a good margin, to be honest.
Okay. I think ETN or Aaron Jones have a pretty solid case. I know the Lions defense is tough and then the Packers are without Bakhtiari.
Okay, then do you want to take quarterback and not get froze out with Ritter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, good call.
Okay. Because if you view them similarly, one of them's coming back.
It's true.
But like this is the stuff that I've been thinking through in this contest a lot here is how not to get left with Johnny Smith and how not to get left with Desmond Ritter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you don't want either of those guys if you can absolutely help it. Yeah, for me, man, like Aaron Jones, like I still think the Packers line is pretty nasty, even without. But damn.
Yeah, I'm taking ATN here for sure, and then gonna play the Lions stuff through the auxiliary pass catchers now that we have Goff.
Mm-hmm.
You could talk me into Aaron Jones, but I just think ATN's just a much better play. Like even without the hamstring thing lingering.
Yeah.
Just like a pure volume play.
Yeah, the volume's there. I mean, they're probably the Jaguars just really have me like thrown for a loop here. I just don't like. I can't tell if they're good. Like Trevor Lawrence, he showed a lot last year that was like to be excited about, and then here we are this year, and like he just seems very like hot and cold, in my opinion. So it does seem like if they are going to beat the Falcons, it's probably going to be like through the air in a gross game.
Yeah.
I just it's a really tough call for me, but with Aaron Jones, man, I think the Packers line is still dominant without Bakhtiari. AJ Dillon kind of sucks, so I really it's a toss up for me. This is Musgrave for sure.
Yeah. So this is like kind of what's been happening here is nobody wants to click those pass catchers after these top four. And then you see this run of tight end and running back go. And you literally have to make concessions depending on the style of lobby you're in, where you have to take Goff in the second and you got to take Musgrave in the fourth because you literally don't want to get froze out unless you make the concerted effort to be frozen out, you know?
Yeah. I do think ETR is like responsible for this double tight end stuff.
Oh yeah. Just in terms of their projections for tonight.
Mm-hmm. Like the way that like the tight ends are very high on these projections, like very high. Like I think once you hit like I think they're higher than like Drake London, which is why you see them go over Drake London.
Well, and we wind up with Drake London here, and we're not going to say no to that.
No, never.
Yeah. Okay. So, Roofing Man, what's good, my friend?
Oh, thank you. Let's go, bro.
Thank you. There we go. Newbie's got a hole one update for us.
Oh, I thought you said hole in one. I almost freaked out.
Hole number one update. 15 feet from the hole after going into the trees. Then, damn right, I 3-putted for bogey. There you go. Love to hear it. There you go. Well done,
That's
Navy.
exactly how I would have expected that to go.
Yeah. Um.
One of the questions that I have for you in this contest is about Josh Reynolds. Do you think there's a little flop lag on Josh Reynolds? Do you think he was just like hampered last week and that's why he put up literally nothing, even in targets? Or is it like,
Yes.
or is Khalif Raymond usurped him?
Um. No, I think it's flop lag. I think he was just not 100% last week, and I think buying the dip on Josh Reynolds this week instead of chasing that Khalif Raymond dream feels pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
yeah,
so
let's talk
too.
about the receiver position in general because with Christian Watson coming back, do you think he plays a full allotment of routes tonight?
It doesn't seem like he will, and
Okay.
I don't think, I'm in agreement there. I do not think he does either, but he probably does enough to be, he's definitely a top 24 player easily. Or what's the math here? 4-3, definitely like probably a top 12 wide receiver, even if he only plays like 20% of snaps and runs like 13 routes. One of them's
Mhm.
probably like a 20-30 yard catch. Like he's still somebody I want.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just gonna keep clicking this till it closes because I selfishly want to make sure I get some volume in here, despite us finishing up the show or doing the show and whatnot.
It's fine.
Yeah, the wide receiver position for me tonight, like it feels extremely top heavy, where you can just go like, hey, what do you want to do in here? I think Romeo still stands out. He had 12 targets last week. I think he still stands out as a guy whose role is going to be fine. For me, I think like Wicks and stuff are the guys who see the decrease down. I actually think Jaden Reed's going to be okay too because he plays so much out of the slot, and we haven't seen like a ton. We'll bring up the wrong one. Bring up the old fantasy usage here. We've seen that tick up each week from Romeo. Wicks has just kind of like been a replacement, in my opinion, and then we've seen the tick up from Reed as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for me, I'm like pretty comfortable clicking like Reed, Dobbs, and Watson, and that's kind of it from the Packers so far. How about you?
Yeah, I did one team with Wicks and it didn't feel good. But
Yeah.
Reed and Dubs are like firmly in my player pool, and they project like very similarly to Drake London, even though like, man, Drake London's gonna have a big game very soon. Like he's just too talented.
Eventually.
Like these dudes on the Falcons are just too talented, despite Desmond Ritter being their quarterback, to not like have a to go this quiet all season
Mm-hmm.
long. So I don't know that it's going to be this week, but so for me,
Um,
Ridley's one of these picks.
Yep, I'm good with that. For me, it's Ridley and ATN in this contest. In the next contest, it would be Aaron Jones and Ridley, I think,
Okay.
or ATN and Jones. And the reason being is I know fifth and sixth round Aaron Jones exists right now. How do I beat fifth and sixth round Aaron Jones with the Q tag? We got to think through that lens, not just who's the best play right here.
Yeah, very true. As these drafts are closing up, uh, like you mentioned, there's going to be better Aaron Jones teams than second round Aaron Jones for sure. So
Right.
you really got to think about that, and hopefully, maybe you get a little bit of a fall here. Then I would definitely be considering it. But
Mhm.
yeah, this Packers Lions game seems considerably more exciting to me than the London game. The fact
Fair
that they're
enough.
in London, the Jags offense just doesn't is just like very confusing to me, and I'm always scared of teams playing the Falcons. Uh, is the Jags defense good either? Yeah, they had a nice game against the Chiefs, but
Mhm.
is this defense any? I mean, they just lost by 20 to CJ Stroud and the Texans.
Mhm.
So what like it's so hard to make anything out of this Jaguars team right now. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
we got froze out at quarterback, which is you run the risk, right? But at least we get to pair it with Drake London. I think Evan Ingram's overkill. I like him as my favorite tight end on the slate tonight. I think community prefers Laporta.
They do. Community's in love with Laporta.
Yeah, which is, I mean, entirely fine, and maybe that's
Super
part of the
warranted.
reason. Yeah. I think this. I think these are the plays.
Yeah, it's got to be Laporta in London. Like you said, Ingram would be overkill, especially if we were not getting Lawrence there. I would love if this game would be a shootout. That would be an excellent way to start a Sunday morning, but I just do not see that in the cards at all. I think both of these teams just don't play like that. Like I wish I had stronger convictions like on this, but like, man, it's just two ugly teams that are, I guess the most likely outcome is like nobody like breaks the slate in that game.
Well, it's also going to be the slower of the two games in terms of like chewing clock and whatnot, because Atlanta just, the pace of play is never going to be good when Atlanta's involved in the game, even if the Jags want to play up tempo, right? So you look at this game being fast. You look at this game being the lower of the two totals. You look at the team totals for Atlanta being the lowest on the slate, like just these little things. And then you go, okay, I don't know which tight end they're going to use. I don't know which running backs they're going to use, right? Like there's so much in there that just makes you go, okay, let's ape in. Even if Jared Goff's worse on the road, let's just ape in on that game environment opposed to this one.
Yeah, it just feels much safer.
We got some decisions here. So we could do David Montgomery. Ritter's going to be one of these picks for sure. We could do the stack like Ritter and Mac Hollins, although we already have Drake London, so it feels thin to double stack Ritter, I'm not going to lie, unless it's with tight end. We could go bully tight end and go Musgrave and be like, hey, tonight's game plays through the tight ends. Yeah, for me, it's Montgomery or Musgrave, I think.
Yeah, and I think I would go Montgomery.
Okay. There's no big scroll for me like here that fits this team. The majority of the scrolling in which I've been doing has been like tethered to a pass catcher. So I've done like, obviously you do Khalif Raymond when you get froze out and you have Goff, or if you built out like the Green Bay stuff. I've done a little bit of Jonnu Smith. He's outscored Kyle Pitts in both the games in which he's kind of crazy to say. They have some design stuff for him in and around the goal line. Done some Agnew, done one Tim Jones. Tim Jones played.
Who is Tim Jones?
Yeah, he's kind of like Zay Jones' replacement in the meantime right now, with Zay Jones having the doubtful tag. So you just go scroll down here. Tim Jones had the little uptick of 30% of routes last week. It was Jamal Agnew who saw the majority of that work, but a little Tim Jones mixed in there, trying to hunt a touchdown. Why not, right?
I need more on Tim Jones. He's Southern Miss from Mississippi. Okay, I kind of like Tim Jones. I like dudes that are from Mississippi and stay in Mississippi, and then they move just east to Jacksonville. Like, sorry, I'm sold on Tim Jones, and now he's across the pond for the first time. He's blowing up. You just sold pen on Tim Jones by just saying his name.
Oh man. Oh, our underdog father, T-Box. Thank you for supporting the channel, my friend.
Let's go.
Thank you. Love it. Yeah, this is true. Turn me up onto this. Tim Jones was number 15 and Scott Hansen got confused. Called him Zay Jones last week. He did on Red Zone.
That's sick.
If I was in Scott Hansen, actually Nikki calls him Scott Handsome. That's like her thing.
It's a great nickname.
It's a great nickname. But I would never make that mistake. I would have known Zay Jones was inactive. Come on. Scott's got to be better there.
We're not criticizing Scott anymore on this. It feels blasphemous.
No, he's a legend, dude. Yeah. Oh, dude. How old? Do you know how old he is?
No. Is he?
Well, we might be able to get one more in here. 99.8 after 50, a refresh.
Is he like 50?
Oh, see that, dude. I thought he was like 38. Like I didn't think he maybe on the old side of the spectrum. I would have said he was like 45.
He's like a Hollywood 50. Yeah.
He's Hollywood 53. Like only eating avocados for lunch.
Dude, he's just he takes such good care of his body. He's a family man. He's got a social life. Like, dude, he's extremely healthy. Like, there's just nobody on planet Earth with a better aura than Scott Hansen.
Yeah, and he's like a super religious guy too. Remember on Pete's stream, he was talking about his church league.
He's got a church league, and he's just in here like bodying souls in his church fantasy football league. Like, come on, man, you can't. You gotta let the casuals have their league. You're breaking that shit.
The emo cowboy Tyler chiming in here in honor of hashtag whole talk. Yeah, we're waiting for Neumy to chime in with the whole talk. Some good karma juju for this weekend. Appreciate it, brother. Love the addition of the 69 cents. Here we go. And speaking of whole talk, right on cue. Hole number 2, piped it down the middle. I don't know. We're going to have to
split the fairway.
Split it in half.
Iron over the back of the green. Got the yips and ducked the chip. Re-chip, drain it for bogey. Hey, I'll take a bogey, man.
I'm going to fix Neumy's chipping right here, right now, with one simple thing. Ball, like if ball's above your feet, weight on your front foot. Ball below your feet, weight on your back foot.
I'm gonna say
keep it closed, hands in front, because he's trying to scoop it. You know, if you're chunking that, you're trying to scoop it instead of hitting down on the ball. Because you got to make contact with the ball first. You don't want to make contact with the ground or scoop underneath it. That's the thing.
I'm gonna say he probably needs to do a little bit more torso action. I'm gonna say he might be a little like too army.
Oh, whippy, yeah, too snappy.
You just gotta bring it back halfway, finish halfway, and that ball is sitting on the pin, my friend.
I respect that. I respect that. You just got the visual lesson from Nez there.
You're done. You don't need it from John. You don't need that from John, boy.
Wrist locked, and you come through. You bring it with your hips, man. You got it with your hips.
All right, what's going on here? I think after this we should look at some pick'ems and see what we like. I know the games have been pretty ambiguous, or we've been talking about how the Jags game feels ambiguous, but let's see what the pick'em lobby speaks to us.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so Rishi goes Trevor, Aaron Jones in the 3-hole. Okay, that's like some nice alpha for the mini.
It's one way to build it differently. That's for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not
like
wrong.
if you wanna go toe to toe with like, hey, Aaron Jones is the guy you need. I accept in my life that he exists elsewhere. I think we push quarterback in this lobby.
Have to.
Let's do it. Let's trust that some badged up guys. I mean, like, this is a Goff team through and through in the 2 here. You could do anything with the other spot. Like, do you really want to put Love and...
Right. Yeah, I think it's Kirk and Watson here.
You think so? The Christian combo in honor of Scott Hansen. It works too well.
That's beautiful. Yeah. No, I think it's got to be a Watson and Kirk. I mean, you can't. It's hard to care too much in this slate about a Watson snap count when we know he has 70-yard touchdown in his range of outcomes.
And you don't want to do Jordan Love here. You'd rather do Kirk.
Well, I thought we were pushing quarterback.
Okay. No, I'm just confirming.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, you could make a case for Jordan Love for sure, because I like Jordan Love a lot, man. I like he's not always putting out perfect film, but he's got it. Like,
he's pushing the ball downfield too, which is a lot more than you can say about a lot of quarterbacks, especially quarterbacks on this slate in particular. Right?
Oh, yes,
he is pushing the ball downfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for like to his like tight end of all guys too, which is like really interesting. They got a really nice line. Yeah, this should be a fun game. This should be a fun game. Hopefully Goff can hang in there and put together a nice outdoor performance there. But this should be like one of the better Thursday night football games we get this year, I think.
I'd like to think so. I mean, short week turnaround. always scares you. But I'm kind of bullish on the fact that the two best players on, or the two best offensive weapons on Green Bay did not play last week. Normally we're bearish because, oh yeah, short week, turnaround, guys aren't as healthy, low scoring game, blah, blah, blah. The fact that they didn't play last week means they've kind of just had like a little bye, like Christian Watson hasn't played in like 3 weeks or something like that. These guys might come out fresh as hell. Like when we're looking for, because Thursday night's always like traditionally a low scoring environment. Like even when we saw it last week with the 49ers, right? It was only like, what was it? It was like, I want to say it was 10-3 halfway through like the second quarter. And we were like, where the hell are the points? Like what's going on here? Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was kind of weird. All right. Okay.
We almost did it. Almost did it. We went for it, guys. We went for it.
You had to.
We had to.
Zay Jones is like definitely doubtful, right? I see some people talking about mostly GA in the chat.
He's got the D tag, but I have no idea what to make of that, right? For this contest, the entirety of this contest, he has had the D tag. So, I mean, that coupled with the note beneath saying long shot to play.
Yeah.
Is there leverage in it? Absolutely. But I think I would have to do it on a team that doesn't have Christian Kirk and has Trevor Lawrence, right?
Exactly. So I think here you go Kyle Pitts for one of your picks.
Yeah. You think we just like
at least one of them?
Hey, this is the Ritter team.
Yeah, I mean we already know it is. And then from here, we talked up Dubs a lot. I think he makes sense, and Musgrave also makes sense too. If you just want to like just chop the head off one of these teams, or Jaden Reed.
See, like the problem with this is now, like this is just like a bad team that's been duped. Let's do Jaden Reed. I think if you take Dubs here, if you take Musgrave, if you take Algier probably makes it the most unique because you go all in on Atlanta and you have two Atlanta running backs.
I think you can totally say Atlanta like beats the brakes off of the Jaguars. That doesn't seem like improbable. And what's going to happen if they do win by 30? Like it's going to be like Bijan and Algier like doing Achan and Raheem Mostert type shit.
Literally, yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But then pairing it with Ritter feels so bad. I think it's not a terrible I think it's not a terrible approach if we had taken Love instead of Christian Kirk. And maybe there's a lesson there. So if we take Love instead of Christian Kirk and we do the mini stack with Watson, right? Who comes back to us? Well, not Kyle Pitts. We take Musgrave there. So you end up with a double stack with Love, with Bijan, and then we take Algier and you play that game as they just run it down your throats, 3 touchdowns on the ground. And then we got all the pass catching from Green Bay. I would have really liked that team, actually.
Something to consider in these in these smaller lobbies, these 20 maxes, like thinking ahead of when you have the 101, like your chances of getting a QB at the 3-4 are just not likely. But
4-5, yeah, at 4-5.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, pushing QB makes a lot of sense in the middle positions, like the middle draft slots. Pushing it on the end is pretty hard to execute.
Yeah, and you're kind of forced to, in a sense.
Yeah,
right.
Unless like 2 or 3 run off before it even comes back to you, 5, 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. I hope there's still one more lobby. I hope there's still one more lobby of this contest. No? Okay. All right. I think, should we look at it real quick?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay, that'll be my 30th once that closes. We ended up with 30. I know I'm going to be heavy on the tight ends.
You'll have to oh, nice. Look at that.
Oh, tricks of the trade there, Nezzy boy.
Trick. I didn't know that one.
You didn't know that one?
Overload the server. Just give me newer. Give me my updated exposures.
So So we took a concerted stand on Evan Ingram, which is probably bad. If I could go back and change my exposures here, I think tight end. I think this is a pretty strong tight end slate for a 2-gamer. And I think as long as you get one of the 5, even if you take some skinny shots at Brock Wright with Goff teams, like it's so thin. But hey, I was telling you guys about Tanner Hudson last week, so just trust the process out here. Showdown slates backup tight ends, baby.
Wasn't even in the player pool.
Yeah, I know. That's awesome. Super flat at quarterback, so you can tell that I was doing the push it as far as I can, and then end up with some Ritter. 13% Jonnu. I really got off the AJ Dillon stuff. I did not take a ton of Aaron Jones because I was just like, hey, super teams have Aaron Jones already. Took a CPAT just for a little bit of combination of swap equity and maybe he plays, maybe he has a pass catching role and they use him kind of like they did last year. That could very easily turn into Zay Jones was also my thought process there. I'm a complete and utter fraud and took 0 Zay Jones and didn't do the D tag thing. And then I was taking Q tag Christian Watson. So we ended up with a bit more than the field there. Nez, what do you think about my current exposures going into tonight's contest? Pretty flat.
Yeah, I mean they are what everybody's player pool should look like if they can help it. I think what would be, I mean, if you don't want to look at your individual teams, that's fine. But I think what might be a decent idea is like control effing like maybe one of your favorite quarterbacks on your teams and seeing like maybe like finding if you want to if you're okay with showing some of your teams that you drafted.
Oh yeah, I don't care.
Seeing some of like your best like Goff teams or your like your best love teams, whichever QB you like best tonight.
Goff, Aaron Jones. Yeah, I'm good with Jonnu. I'm fine with Jonnu, to be honest. I kind of like this team. Goff, Amon-Ra, Aaron Jones, Christian Watson tonight, and then you just go the gross route of Atlanta, Algier, and Jonnu. I don't hate it.
I like that game stack there.
Double tight end one with Laporta and Goff and Amon-Ra, and then Pitts
that's
plays
a nice
through the other one.
Yeah.
Khalif Raymond share mixed in there. No real GMs yet. There's another Khalif Raymond. I mean, I think the Khalif Raymond usage has been like pretty legit, but I do think I would rather have Josh Reynolds tonight.
It's been weighing on me, and I do, and maybe this is just like my bro science take, but I do feel like they are like different receivers. Raymond seems way more like short yardage for me, like quick hitter, like type of like usage. And then Reynolds is more like longer ADOT. I could easily check utilization report, but I don't have it pulled up right now to see if that tracks, but they do kind of do different things in my opinion. But Raymond, I thought looked pretty damn good. And Goff was looking at his way quite a bit in that last game. So I have Khalif Raymond on my Hail Mary team. It doesn't feel great, but I'm just playing into the fact that, hey, back-to-back weeks, like Raymond's been used like a fair amount. So hopefully that doesn't blow up in my face. But my my Hail Mary team is a Goff to Khalif Raymond.
Yep.
With Christian Watson as well. Evan Ingram as my tight end. And then I have ETN and Tyler Algier. It's just like
feels nice.
It's just your median projection ass line.
Right. That's exactly what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like. Yeah. I mean,
okay, the Raymond ADOT is actually way deeper than I remember.
Right. Yeah. And that's what he's always been. It's been like that burner, that stretch the field guy. Actually, I got a good Khalif Raymond story.
How do you have a Khalif Raymond story?
So I was offered to be like an investor in some project, blah, blah, blah. Right. And I was meeting with Austin Eckler's agent and was having like a Zoom call with Austin Eckler's agent. Right. And there was, 4 or 5 of us in this meeting and we're chatting and whatever. And the guy's phone starts buzzing uncontrollably. And he's like, guys, I'm so sorry. I got to take this. This is like breaking news, like blah, blah, blah. And then he like, he's on the phone, but his thing's muted. We keep talking. He comes back. He's like, wow, one of my guys just got called up from the practice squad. He's like, he's going to be up there with it was Tennessee at the time. And he's going to be up there. He's going to be playing next game. And he's like, no matter what you guys do, you didn't hear from me, but go trade AJ Brown in your fantasy leagues right now. He's like, there's a huge like internal debate of like whether he should have surgery or not, and blah blah blah. And he gave us like this like big news drop like insider tip, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, who do you rep? And he's like, Khalif Raymond. He's coming up. He's gonna replace him on the active roster.
You may or may not have told that before. It might have been.
Did I?
Off
Yeah.
there, off there. I swear. I was like, when I heard Austin Eckler, Asian Khalif Raymond, I'm like, I swear. I know that is amazing. That's like the dream, is to get like some like type of like scoop like that and make some smart moves off of it. Depending on where you're doing that, you can go to federal prison, but not in fantasy.
We got a Neumy update. Hole 3. It's a par 3. He goes green in regulation about 10 to 15. I mean, that's a large range. That's either 66% or 99% away from the hole. You know what I mean? Like that's like if he's 10 feet, like,
what does that mean? What does green in regulation mean?
That means you make it in time to. If it's a par 4, you're on in 2, so you're giving yourself a birdie opportunity. If you're on in 1 on a par 3 and giving yourself a birdie opportunity, that's a green in regulation.
Green in regulation, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah. He missed the birdie putt, but a little tap in par. There you go. So, what does that put him at? He's 2 over right now. Something like that. I think he's 2 over through 3. Playing just under bogey golf.
He's probably playing from the tips.
Yeah, I always definitely playing from the tips. All right, let's do you want to talk any more about the THUNday Kerfuffle stuff, or do you want to talk a little resurrection
I wanted to look at the pick'ems.
Okay, sure. Let's do it.
Yeah, I want to like, we're talking all the, the battle royale theories and everything. Like, let's see what these pick'ems actually look like.
Okay.
And to start, I mean, 50 rushing yards for David Montgomery seems like a pretty healthy workload.
That does seem like a pretty healthy workload. Wow. Yeah. I mean,
a lot.
We didn't talk about that backfield very much when we were talking. Like, I'm kind of off Gibbs tonight. Like, I think Gibbs is a pretty electric, explosive, whatever you want to say player. I mean, it's just crazy that they gave away Swift for like nothing, and then they just drafted Swift, and then they're just using him wrong again. Like, like it's just,
I know, man.
It's comical, man.
It's really weird. It's really weird. I don't quite get it.
Last week he has like 17 carries, and you're like, oh yeah, great. Here comes the usage bump. But they run him all between the tackles, and like, he's not that guy. Like, he's just not built to, like, these style running backs are not built to play with Jared Goff.
I know. And I don't want to get too into hypothetical land, but can we just like imagine if like Gibbs was on the Dolphins? Like, if Gibbs on the Dolphins would be like breaking records. It would just be absolutely absurd, because he's like HN, but like better.
Yeah, I guess I could. I guess my counterpoint would be like, is he better than HN? I don't know.
I think so. It's just, I don't know, man. Using that's what they have Montgomery for, to do that between the tackles, like heavy duty shit.
Mm-hmm.
No, but it really made no sense. And to anybody that was watching, it really made no sense. I wanted it to work out. Like, I want it to be like, to look like a great pick, but it'll like only like Bijan. Like, it takes Bijan level type of talents to be worth these first round picks. But anyways,
and I mean, even
I'm with you
on.
I was just gonna say, I'm with you on like iffy on Gibbs this week, and I don't know that they put his pick'ems back up, because with the he's not back up yet with the Montgomery active news, so they're still kind of waiting to see what to do with him. But people are like really excited for Gibbs, and I want to be. Obviously, we think he's exciting, but dude, I just don't think he's like gonna have a great fantasy game tonight. And it feels like more often than not, he's not going to have a great fantasy game,
Right. I think that's a smash. And I think that together is a smash.
Yeah, I hit the Jordan Love line at like 229.
Ooh-wee. You are sharp.
I was excited about that.
Christian Watson, 3 catches. If you look at that, if you juxtapose that to what his ADP is and where he's going in
I
these
know.
contests, like that's like comparable. Look at this. Like Dubs with 3.5, Reed with 3, Musgrave with 3. Like they think this is just so flat.
I agree. I really agree. I mean, I think that's a pretty good projection on.
Do you think, according to the pick'ems, Underdog has Drake London higher or lower than 3 receptions?
I haven't looked yet, so this will be good. I think they have him at 3.5.
You think they got
Nothing.
They don't have a receptions. They got 45.5 yards though.
That to me says 3.5 or maybe 4 even. If it's 4 even, that's a tough one.
Interesting to see Mac Hollins at 26.5 receiving yards prop. And then you see the guys that are going ahead of him in like every single draft, like Musgraves at 37.5. Jaden Reed goes way more than him, exact same line, 36.5. Dubs goes every single draft, basically 40.5. Like we're talking like mean projection of like 4 yards of difference.
Yeah, Mac Hollins should be drafted in these new contests in these 20 max contests. Like for sure, he's worth a click. Like if he scores, he's immediately like flex worthy.
Okay, so let's rethink our build, our construction with that in mind. And we just go, hey, we're pushing quarterback as far as we can. We get frozen out, so we have to take Desmond Ridder, right? Now all of a sudden, they just moved the Jordan Love one down for us. Wow.
That was so nice of you.
Yeah, that was great. I accept Underdog.
Yeah, are you sure?
Yeah, anyways, and I think everyone's back end default is, hey, we got frozen out with Ridder. We pair him with Pitts. We pair him with Jonnu Smith. Let's just flip that narrative and pair him with Mac Hollins.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Mac Hollins is liable to score a touchdown. I mean, he's on the field. You know, he's playing quite a bit.
Okay, I got to write these two down. The ones that we talked about so far. We talked about that one where we do the Desmond Ridder paired with Mac Hollins as the late, and you make sure you take a 4th round tight end there. Just thinking through roster construction wise, and then the one from they're moving it down again. What do they know that we don't?
What?
The longer we sit,
I think it's the Watson stuff, maybe.
I guess.
And they moved Jaden. Did they move Jaden Reed down a little bit too?
Maybe it's the David Bakhtiari stuff too.
Yeah, that very well could be it.
Yeah, because the Lions pass rush did nothing against an absolutely depleted offensive line in the Seahawks, and then they come out and they get like 10 pressures last week. You know, they had sacks for days, and now all of a sudden you get a guy like Jordan Love back there without Bakhtiari in front of him.
I still think their line is pretty damn good even without him, so I'd still be willing.
They I want to add one more guy to that's a game time decision. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Zach Tom. Zach Tom is also game time decision. Who's
Zach Tom?
Yeah, who's a starting offensive lineman for them apparently. DNP on Monday and then 2 LPs.
2 first names, Zach Tom.
Yeah,
that's a good. That's a good lineman. Yeah, that's how you know he's a badass lineman.
Zach Thomas, let's go. Okay. Yeah, anyways, just thinking through that build, and then the other one being the Jordan Love with Bijan with Christian Watson, and then hoping someone doesn't go double bully tight end, and then you add Algier, and you'd go 2 Atlanta running backs, but you still have some pass catching from the other side. Exactly. Okay, those are the two I want to. I mean, GA is always dialed. He knows what's up.
He knows. Of course, he knows the Green Bay lineman. That's just in his realm.
He goes division rivals. I got you. Oh man. Okay, where else did we want to go with this? I actually want to build this now because I really like these two.
Well, we were looking at Ridder with a 189 passing yards projection. That I actually don't know that I want to do anything with that.
Yeah, you're walking it back in your mind right now.
I was thinking lower.
Yeah. The problem with that is it's just one dump off to Bijan for 60 yards and it breaks it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really that easy.
Mm-hmm. I do think this is low key get right spot for I think it's low key get right spot for the Jags.
I mean, they would love that to be, but I don't know that I'm just like foolish, but dude, I don't think that this Falcons defense is that spot for them. I don't think that
Yeah, that's fair.
like I think this is just going to be a really gross game, and if anything, I think the Falcons win.
Okay. All right.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I just got this. I got this wild hair at my ass that says like the Jacksonville Jaguars are just not. They're just going to disappoint once again. I just don't like what I'm seeing from there. I think all that being said, like I like a lot of these lowers.
Oh, it went back up. Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Every minute you filibuster about Desmond Ridder, we're getting screwed, man.
Fuck. Fuck me. Chat. I need some chat help. Like, can we crowdsource a higher lower on this?
One. I'll throw one more that I like. I like Aiden Hutchinson tonight.
What do you like?
I think I mean like I think he gets a sack and that's a solo tackle. I think he gets at least one sack is how I feel tonight. So like taking the 2 solo tackles feels really good to me.
Oh man, you got to get on your phone and hit the spicy boy on that. He's on there for a 0.5 sack.
Oh, okay. We'll do it on my phone and then I'll share it.
Okay.
Okay. I really like the sack one.
Yeah, share the link in our Discord chat and then I'll blast it in the comments.
Oh, we're gonna hammer it.
And I started blasting.
Oh man. Okay. We got the Aaron Jones hire. I like there's a spicy Aaron Jones touchdown one too. I like that too.
Oh wow, we got some decent alpha. Oh, you can't do spicy with the 0.5. So you might have to shout out James. Good call there. 2 things that I think are worth crowdsourcing in. I can't do a Kyle Pitts lower because I don't want to get rejected from the church. Tyler says Settlement has his Goonies smashing the lower on Goff sacks. I think that makes me want to take the higher. And Carlos says Wicks lower 1.5 receptions. That feels so sharp.
Yeah, I like that shout.
Gotta have a lower.
Okay. Yeah, mixing in a lower is how you know people think you're sharp.
It's great. It throws like your fish scent just goes away when you have one lower. You're like, oh wow, like okay, this guy knows his shit.
This guy's not just clicking buttons.
Is he? There's no way.
There's no way. He's got a lower in there. I could see it. Okay, let's keep it all tonight then.
Okay, I like that.
So we got the Hutch spicy sacks. Then we got the Aaron Jones higher receiving, Wicks lower receptions, Jordan Love higher passing yards.
Okay. Do you want to add a 5th or are you cool?
I want to add a 5th.
All right. Let's add a 5th. You know who I think is somebody that you should consider.
Okay.
Alex Anzalone.
Okay. Sell me this pen.
Just look at this guy. Go find him. Go find him and look at him.
Okay. Look at this salad. He looks like the guy who dressed up as the Flash for Halloween, like in Ted. You know that movie?
Of course I remember Ted. I'm seeing here. I think he's gonna get amped up for this division game. Anzalone's passing smelling salts around everybody. Like hit this. Oh, shit.
You looked at this guy's hair one time and you're like, yeah, this guy gets amped up for divisional games. This guy's on the salt. Sure. All you did was look at his hair. You don't know anything about this guy.
Since when do we do anything other than vibes? Look at this guy. Click his face and get the bigger picture. Click his face. Look. If this doesn't look like a guy going for more than 7
Ric
tackles and
Flair's
assists
son.
today.
Ric Flair's son.
Woo! Come on.
Oh my gosh. No. I'm out on this guy.
I will say, I wish it was 6. I wish it was 6 tackles and assists.
What if we do the Amon-Ra touchdown?
Okay.
I like that.
He was on, so here's a little alpha. He was on a pod or some show that he does, because what athlete doesn't do a show these days? Yeah. He said they have a touchdown special planned. They are going to do some sort of special dance together as a team. If somebody gets in the end zone, you think he's saying that if it's not him? He needs the ball in the end zone tonight, so he can do his team dance. It
took you an hour to share the most actionable nugget of all time.
I was saving it.
It took you an hour to share that. That is the most actionable one. We are in. Okay, I just sent it to you. You can drop it in the chat there. Drop it in the chat. There we go. Perfect. Okay, there it is. If anybody wants to play along at home with us, there'll be that one. Then you know Pete's gonna bring them for the ship chasing one as well. We are. If only we could call it slip chasing. That'd be sick.
I know.
Man. Free marketing, Pete. There you go.
He can't do that. They're not gonna. He's gonna get a phone call for that one.
Okay. I was gonna share Carlos's comment until I saw the last word of it, and I was like, I'm probably not gonna share that one. But I do agree with him being an extra. He looks like he was in. Yeah, there you go. Thor's illegitimate son. Yeah, he looks like an extra in a Vikings show.
He's just historically accurate, but yeah, we can't put that comment up. Jesus Christ!
I'm so all right. We're off the rails. We're off the rails. Do you want to do the THUNday stuff, or do you want to try and do one resurrection?
I have 30 minutes, so
okay.
I think let's do.
How long does the resurrection take?
Like an hour. So you'd have to finish it up without me, in which case you would lose your money.
Yeah, it's a great point. Actually, okay, let's look at the ADP real quick, because I haven't done this yet.
Yeah.
And I really want to look at the resurrection ADP with you, and then just kind of like go from there real quickly. Pollard, obviously a big mover comparative to preseason.
I want to quiz you real quick before you scroll any further. Did you see any tweets as far as ADP goes, like where big movers and shit are?
No, right, I haven't done anything resurrection yet. That's why I kind of wanted to come in blind and see.
Okay. DeAndre Swift ADP. What is your guess?
44.
Ooh, I think you're pretty high on that.
Really?
I mean, I agree.
People aren't buying it?
48. It's 48.
Okay.
I did 2 the day of the drop. I have 1 share at 53.
Uh-huh.
1 share in the 60s.
Oh wow.
At 69.
Well, CLV in the first couple of days of the contest.
Yeah, so I'm like done now. I'm like, okay, I got my Swift CLV. Like we're good. No, the thing that's awesome about these is these ADPs shift like as quickly as BR.
Right. Yeah.
BR ADP switches, which is pretty slick.
Okay, let's do a couple more. I'm into this game. I want to guess a couple more.
Okay. I want you to guess. James Cook.
Ooh. 63.
51 and a half.
51 and a half. Interesting. Do you like that better than Swift? Would you rather have who would you rather have rest of the season, Cook or Swift?
Cook.
Interesting. I think I'd rather have Swift.
Yeah, it's really close. It's really close.
They're very comparable players where we don't think they can be full workload guys by themselves, and we think all the goal line touches are going to go to someone other than them.
Exactly, right? And let's
do another one.
Najee Harris. Oh,
Gibbs.
I don't even know Gibbs. I'm going to say, dude, the hype is real on Gibbs. I'm going to say he's like 34.
Okay. So you think Gibbs goes ahead of these guys? Because I was thinking Gibbs should go in this same
Well, I
range.
certainly think he should, but I think the hype on Gibbs is just like kind of absurd.
Yeah, he's 34. You nailed it. 33 and a half. 33.9.
Jesus, nice.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, I don't like I can appreciate how awesome Gibbs looks and will be at some point, but man, I am not betting on him at that ADP. It's just I just don't think it's going to go how we want it to.
Yeah, I guess people just aren't relinquishing like what's changed, right? It's only been 3 weeks, and people are just going, "Hey, what's changed on Gibbs?" Like he's seeing the volume we hope to. It's going to eventually align because this is effectively his same ADP as BBM.
Yeah, nobody's budged, despite
nobody's budging on Gibbs yet.
And that Montgomery injury, like we didn't get the active tag until like today, so this was like from days prior. So maybe there'll be some conceding, but I doubt it.
Okay, let me do one more for you here. Who is the tight end 5?
Kelsey, Andrews, Hawk. God, I think I'm forgetting Kittle. Who am I forgetting here?
I think the reason I ask is because I think you could do like Ingram, Goddard, Waller, Laporta, and I think it's going to be Laporta.
Oh, Waller.
You think Waller's still ahead of Laporta?
Yeah. Okay. I would say Waller or Kittle.
Okay. Let's see. Waller still, then Laporta. Laporta's jumped.
Shit.
That was kind of what I was getting at. I thought Laporta would have jumped Goddard and Ingram in that like tier there.
Oh my god.
Pat Freiermuth. No matter what Pat Freiermuth does, he will just perpetually be tight end 10 forever.
Ever.
No matter what.
Forever and ever.
4 touchdowns this weekend, or he could go like 4 targets and no catches, and he's just going to be tight end 10. It's just like, hey, remember last year when they hit him on those seam routes a couple times late in the year? Yeah, that's all we remember, right? Like
I can't believe Kyle Pitts is still as high as he is, and I can't like Musgrave should be 30 spots ahead of Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts is still the darling, right? Like I saw a good tweet on it yesterday. It was like air yard share, target share amongst tight ends, like blah blah blah.
Oh, it's all there.
It's all there, and it's like first, fifth, third, and then it was like, and then tight end position, tight end 29 on the season, right?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
I don't know what to do except just assume that it's just not coming. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I have so much. I have so many. My Pitts bags are large, and I'm scared.
Where do you think CJ Stroud is? QB what? I think it'd be too hard to guess. Like
QB 16, ADP 160.
QB 16.
Way off.
QB 19, 142.
Wow, QBs are really pushed up. That's how it goes in these resurrections. QBs like always seem to go earlier than
that. Brock Purdy ADP still sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Kyler's still going. I mean, I guess. Would you rather have Kyler or Sam Howell right now?
Howell.
Who's gonna play?
Howell for sure. Kyler's gonna come back this season, but
you do? You think he's coming back?
Oh, definitely coming back.
Okay.
But
if Kyler's coming back, I think I'd rather take Kyler. I think Howell loses his job in like 2 more weeks.
I don't know that it's gonna be that bad. I mean, he's getting sacked a lot. I mean, and a lot of that is his fault. But I think that they're gonna just ride the kid out.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a reason he went from like a first round graded talent to everybody passed on him in the calendar year.
Yeah,
he did himself a really big disservice by going back to school, because if he didn't go back to school, he might have got hurt, to be honest. But if he didn't go back to school for that final year or whatever, he would have done the Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yo, he's
Same
a UNC
school.
quarterback, like barely played that much, but like look at this 1 year sample. Like, we gotta go for this kid. He's so exciting, right? Like,
do you know where Puka's at in this contest?
Ooh, no. Puka is at 68.
I'm going to say a round earlier at 56.
56. All right, let's see where Puka is.
46.
46. Wow, he's climbing. Love to see it.
Oh my gosh. So like these injured
Let's see where
guys.
Cup is.
Yeah, right? Like
second round Cup, late second round Cup,
dude,
with the bullish news from yesterday that, optimistic that he'll come back after week 5.
super smash. That's a super smash.
That's a fun one.
JT, I saw is very low too.
Let's see. I'm way more skittish on Taylor than I am on Cup. Like Cup's
100%.
like an injury thing. Cup wants to play football. Like Cup wants to be out there, right? JT is just, there's so much baggage. It's the money thing. It's the Irsay dicking him around thing. It's the he could be traded but not traded but wants to be traded. I just think there's way too much bad blood. And now that they've seen like Zach Moss play a little ball and be like, oh yeah, running back's fine. Like we're good with running back right now.
Like how can you like see what Zach Moss has done and think like, man, like we got to get JT back. This is what this team needs. Like they're doing fine. They're proving their point and also like not proving their point because like why are you also trying to like get a first round pick for Jonathan Taylor?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
they're just so frustrating.
They're talking out of both sides of their mouth with Bo's moves, right?
Yeah, it's like they're just like punishing him.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, these ADPs aren't as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
I thought Bijan would be a little higher personally. But with these wide receivers like doing what they're doing, I get it. I think I would still take Jefferson over CMC.
I'll take Jefferson over CMC. I mean, yeah, he's had 150 yards in every single game. I think the little bit of FUD that I could throw on Jefferson is if this team goes 0-4 or this team, is out of it, I think Cousins becomes a real trade candidate to like the Jets or something.
I would love that.
I mean, I think it's crazy gal brain to suggest it, but without Cousins in that Minnesota offense, where does Jefferson, where does Hawk, where does Addison go in a contest like this? Like, I think they drop like 10 picks.
Oh, big time. Big time.
Like, I mean, if they go 0-4, I think trading Cousins from an organizational standpoint would probably be pretty sharp. And then you just, I don't know, teams aren't as likely to tank like NBA style in the NFL. No. I think it's because there's like so few games and the camera and spotlight is just always on them and there's so much money at stake. Whereas like
coaches are always coaching for their jobs too.
True. Good point. Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong, like is Cousins a free agent after the season?
I think so. Yeah. Like I think the money is up after this year.
I thought so too. Yeah, he signed a 1-year deal for $35 million. It makes perfect sense. So that's like, like the little wired meme. Tired is Kirk Cousins to the Jets. Wired, right. Third eye, Galbrain is Kirk Cousins to the Falcons.
Yeah.
Holy shit, does this team need Kirk Cousins?
Yeah. The way we talked about Tannehill potentially going there, Kirk Cousins would actually be the good version of that.
They should do that today.
On the way to London.
Save my bags, please. Get Kirk Cousins on the first flight overseas.
Well, our guy Noah, who, for those who don't know, does a lot of the marketing stuff for Underdog, and I think he runs like the Twitter account or something like that as well.
Yep.
He suggested Kyle Pitts for Trey Lance. Who says no? Like, that's fun as hell, man. Like, if you put Trey Lance in the same backfield as like Bijan and Algier and this sort of thing, and you just trust the fact that whole backfield, like in an Arthur Smith offense, like that becomes the super version of what we wanted Justin Fields to be to start the year.
It's just like the offense last year, except like there's no way Lance is worse than Mariota, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, here you go. This is what you play, this power wing T. There you go.
it'd be
Let's
fucking
go.
awesome.
It'd be so fun. It'd be just like, hey, we're going to play Atlanta. It's like Army versus Navy. Here we go. We're going into Atlanta. There's going to be 15 triple options. There's going to be 3 passes in the entire game, and they're just going to make it work. Like, what if Atlanta just was like, hey, we're just going to be Navy?
That'd be so sick.
It'd be so sick. It'd be so awesome. It put all these old heads at bay, like all these guys that are like, hey, man, there's a pass first league. You can't win by this. And Arthur Smith just goes body bag on everybody. And he just goes, yeah, we're just going wing T.
That's the thing. I feel like Arthur Smith does so much shit out of spite rather than just like trying to win. Like, he just seems like such a spiteful dude that like is desperate to win his way and not like capitulate to like what everybody says. Cause like, yeah, the fantasy owners are relentless and annoying, but like also you spent top 10 capital on 2 receivers that you refuse to give the ball to. You literally refuse to give these guys the ball because you want to be right so badly.
Right. Yeah. I'll tell you what was spiteful about Arthur Smith, his mustache. That was spiteful. That was just clean spite.
That wasn't for him.
No. Any other name you want to hit on here? Interesting to see Keenan Allen comes to like 13 there. Keenan Allen,
he was in like
ahead.
the 30s.
Yeah. Calvin Ridley doing like the fall back a little bit. Oh, we haven't talked about Jalen Waddle yet. Cleared concussion protocol in the battle royales. Get him while the getting is good there.
Yeah, great shout there. I did a Eckler Waddle build last night in the goal line stand, and it is something nasty. I'll tell you that. How about Ken Walker, man?
Yeah.
You know, like this looks kind of obvious in hindsight. Like, and I say that as far as
we said
like,
it, man.
Yeah.
We said it in BBM season where it was like, if we knew Sharps wasn't going to be a factor, or we knew that he was going to get if they had never drafted Sharps, he would have been a fringe, like he'd be middle of the second round. He would have been middle of the second round based on what we saw last year.
Yeah, I think he would have been like a 2-3 turn guy, and thank God he wasn't. I mean, you already can get him on you already did get him cheaper on your Justin Jefferson teams, but imagine him being like 2-3 turn chalk with like the Justin Jefferson 101 teams. Like those teams would be crushing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Interesting to see where the Miami backfield goes. Like if people are just aping into the recency stuff. People are still drafting 65 for HN. Wow. Mostert and HN now only separated by 4 running back spots and about 10 spots, 11 spots total. Jeff Wilson still going at 162. Going to be interesting to see what they do with Wilson.
I agree, man. Part of me thinks Wilson is still a good pick, but he feels like a game day inactive until one of these dudes gets banged up.
I kind of feel the same after what we've seen thus far. And like, I don't know, he's kind of like the thunder to them both being lightning.
Yes.
Right? That being said, like durability concerns with Jeff Wilson being your thunder is like, this guy hasn't been on the field for the last 3 years. He gets hurt every year.
Yeah. The way that Miami's run right now is they're just like fuck the Thunder. Like, what if we what if we just never run anything up the middle and constantly get our guys out in space? Like, what are you going to do about it, NFL? And the answer so far is nothing.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy how, like the Mike McDaniel's offense, like we talk about all these kind of like young coaches doing like really fun things and like learning scheme together, reinventing the game. And now they're like the thought of, like coaches. So like we did this with McVay, right? And we all just, McVay, oh yeah, he's amazing. They go to the Super Bowl. This is what football is supposed to look like. We did it with Shanny. We've always done it with Shanny and the run scheme stuff. This is what it's supposed to look like. Then we did it with LaFleur. We're like, hey, LaFleur's going to change Green Bay, blah, blah, blah. And now he's low-key doing it a little bit with with Love now at quarterback there, and some of the younger talent that they're getting there. It's kind of like the same narrative again for LaFleur. And then now you do it with McDaniels, right? You go, oh yeah, they all come from like this same mindset of pre-snap motion and speed in space and blah blah blah. Like it's very, I don't know. It's weird that the league takes so long to catch on.
Well, it's like you just really don't have an answer for it. Like the speed is just like extremely tough to match.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to counter it is like, you'll just see a surge of, or a preference of like quick, fast guys
Mm-hmm.
being drafted higher. And yeah, I know Sharps is legit. Like we love
Yeah.
Sharps pre-draft and everything, but I don't know that he will ever have the role that takes away like a Ken Walker 20-30 point outcome.
Yeah. Like I asked at one point during the game last week, was Ken Walker hurt? Like I asked in our Discord, is Ken Walker hurt? Like where the hell is he? Because they were using like Sharps so much, and I found it like very surprising. And man, you want to talk about Thunder Lightning combo? Like Sharps is putting dudes on their back. Like he can run heavy. So I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing.
It's a sick backfield, man. Yeah,
It is
no,
a sick
it is a
backfield.
good
That
it is a
team's
good
fun.
thing, because running, like having a 90% workload like seems sick in fantasy until the wheels fall off, which unfortunately always happens when guys get too much work.
Imagine me handing you the NFL script 2.5 years ago and being like Russell Wilson was the problem.
I would have rebuked it.
Right. Everyone would just like rip that shit in half and like giving it away. I mean, like, no way. Are you kidding? Like, this is the worst trade. This is the worst. What are they doing? They're gonna be awful for a couple years. They're tanking. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And
What do
now
you mean?
look how it's
What do you mean?
played
Pete
out.
Carroll was right. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Always trust a man wearing Air Monarchs. What do you say we do one last draft and then caller?
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Okay, cool. Let's do the 3-person one. You know what? We might have to try and sneak 2 because I want to do a 3 and a 4. But let's try and do, this is the 4. Shit, I pump faked everyone. Sorry.
Oh my god, dude.
Well, I wanted to do the 3.
Well, enjoy your overflow, everybody. We're
I'm so sorry. I forget that I stream sometimes. Oh, perfect. And we got Jzar in here, so we get to wait all 30 seconds for the full
5 hours.
milking of the clock. Yeah, now we're not doing 2 either.
It's my worst enemy, dude. My worst enemy.
Wait till we get to hoops season, man. Then he's at least in the he doesn't do as much football, or I don't see him as much in football, maybe just because the entries are more spread out or whatever. Good player, but holy shit, man. I tell him where the plane is. Tell him where the plane is.
I swear he gets like 32 seconds. Like his time, his clock just like runs just like a little bit longer than everybody else's, and it annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah. 2 big things for me. Switching to the third one, I don't care about getting froze out at tight end, and I don't care about getting froze out at quarterback, because I view, though I have Trevor Lawrence ranked the highest out of these 3, I view it as a very flat 3 tier.
Oh, absolutely.
So maybe now there's leverage in going to Desmond Ridder. Not for me. Won't be me. Couldn't be me. I'm not going to Desmond Ridder in this contest. But there is some leverage here. Brand new contest. Nez, who are you taking?
This is so flat.
It's awesome.
ETN.
Are you pairing him with a teammate
by the name of Calvin Ridley?
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of have to.
Yeah, you think so? And then you kind of play a little chicken and see if Trevor Lawrence comes back, kind of deal?
Yeah. Like make somebody make a bad pick.
Let's do it.
I'm in my home league. Nobody cares about my home league, but I'm trying to execute a 3-team trade in my home league. It's never been done. Never once has a 3-way trade gone down, but we're working on it. I think we're reason. Close. It's possible on certain platforms, so we got a close one cooking up. So if I execute it, I'll share it. in the Discord, but we got a troublemaker that's kind of slowing up the process a little bit.
All right. Oh, Bob's come here. This guy's on one right now.
I'm excited.
Tough loss for the Mariners last night, dude.
Oh yeah,
season's over. Season's over.
You think it like, is that just a soul crushing loss that just like?
Oh yeah, that's the end of it.
I mean, they're only like half game out, right? Like just to be clear.
I think it's one now, like one full but you have the tiebreaker against the Astros. So it just goes from you controlled your own destiny if you won last night, because then you're tied and you have the tiebreaker. Okay. Now you're one full game back. You need them to lose, then you win. And I think the Rangers are just too far away now after they've gone on a tear the last like week or so.
Rangers are looking dangerous, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was scary for a second there. Seager took a pitch off his wrist.
I know.
Did you see it? Went straight to the dugout. It looked like he was like, "Oh, I'm done," kind of thing.
I thought it was done too. I was like, "Go fucking figure, man! Like this is just what happens to this team. Like they just have the worst luck right now." But thankfully, it's just a bruise. So,
can you imagine if they had Scherzer and DeGrom right now?
I think Scherzer will be back, but that might be just a lot of hopium.
We could do Christian Watson and Drake London. That feels fun. One's a run back. One sets up a stack for Love coming back, because I think we can push quarterback when this guy goes all Detroit here.
You don't want Laporta? Or you're cool with Musgrave if we get.
I think I'm cool with it.
Okay.
The problem is, so if you do Drake London, you're all right. Let's do Laporta, and then it doesn't matter what quarterback we get. Fine. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Drake London just feels like when you play the run back off of the Jags stuff, like he's
right.
Pushing pace, right?
No, you're right.
But I don't know. I think run backs matter more in these 2-game contests where it's like more condensed and the correlation is more prominent than and there's less overall scoring than in like the main BR, for instance. That's been my thought process.
Yeah. I think you can definitely talk yourself into some more run backs on these 2-gamers. I'm still like, if I was to rank like onslaughting over, I would still put onslaughting over like a run back. If I had to take, like, if I had 4 pieces from a game, would I rather one of those be a run back or all 4 from the same team? I think I would honestly rather do 4 from the same team.
Interesting. I mean, it's definitely a less of a needle to thread. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's cleaner.
It'll be interesting. Like, I think it would be kind of cool to see something like that take place, like we see in like the baseball streets, right? Like we see onslaughts happen all the time in baseball. Like I think it would be the way that it would. What up, Adam? I think that'd be a pretty cool thing to see happen in one of these contests, and these 2-game contests, is like an onslaught, like take over a contest, and like how that would change the meta.
I think it could definitely happen if we're forecasting ahead to like a week 5 or 6 matchup where someone's like a 10-team or 10-point favorite kind of deal. You're muted.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, my dog was barking.
You're good.
Yeah. Yeah, that obviously would make more sense, but I think that's why it gives you more leverage in the game where the spread is tight, and then you just call your shot, and you're like, guess what? Like, this team actually blows the doors off.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We take Jordan Love here.
Ooh, this is now this is the most fun pick of the whole draft.
Right, because right up until this point, this thing's going to be duped by a bunch of other teams. And how you get different is, does David Montgomery make it a super team? Does Dobbs make it a super team with the double stack, or do you scroll the F down? What would you like to do?
I think I would do Jaden Reed.
Let's go. I was going to do the same thing.
It's cute, and I think, obviously the pick'ems out there, the pick'ems like agree that this is a pretty flat tier. And bro science, man, Jaden Reed is just awesome.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, they've done some like design run stuff for him, and they've done that like little like front side shovel pass where they just trust his speed. Maybe some of those looks go to Christian Watson in the future when he's fully healthy. Not entirely sure. I mean, like, because you saw them use Christian Watson that way, that role last year, like the little shovel passes, the end arounds, like that kind of crap goes his way because of just like superior athlete, superior speed kind of deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is kind of like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings right now because I'm scarred from the 2-game contest because of what happened on Monday night.
You got rugged.
I got rugged, little 20K swing in my lap. But like I'm a little bit scarred because of one overarching thought process. Olamide Zucchinius didn't matter, you know? And is it being results oriented to be like, oh yeah, it was too cute? You found the leverage, you found the spot, it worked out. He scored 13 points or whatever, 12.9, and it still didn't fucking matter because Mike Evans had a terrible game and he still beat him.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Right?
You really like you hit like you were right. Like you find like what exactly you needed to happen like took place, and then just an awful rug. No, it's got to be vibes. You got to go vibes. Vibes is the separator in this whole thing.
These guys are on one in the chat today. Everybody's just rhyming and stuff. It's just it's immaculate vibes today, guys.
Comedy club in the comments.
Dude, comedy club. Someone from the comedy club in the comments is 100% winning tonight. I can feel it. This is too good. You got time for 1 4-man, or you want to call it?
Let's do 1 4-man, and then and then I'm out of here.
Okay. All right. This is the mini one now. There will be no ruggage. So just reason we wanted to do the 3, then this, just to show the difference, illustrate whatever. But then also with this 4, I think it's really important to just think that, hey, none of those Q tags, super teams in quotations exist right now. You can play the best plays right now and just not have to worry about, hey, Aaron Jones leverage in the 6th round or Christian Watson leverage in the 6th round. Though that Christian Watson pick'em line has me very scared right now.
Oh, how can you not be scared? Only 3 receptions? Like, what is that? How does... Jeez, man. So how many routes? How many routes does Christian Watson run? Let's say that pick'em pushes.
Yep.
How many routes is Christian Watson running where he gets 3 catches?
16, 15, something like that.
I think like 10,
like even lower,
less than 20, like less than 20.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because
obvious passing downs only, probably.
See, I could see them doing something like they come out on the first series, they go, we've been without this guy since like the preseason, and they just go right off the hop, 3 quick touches, like 3 quick touches, scripted touches for him.
See how he
does. Start the ball game. Yeah. Just go, here are the 3 scripted touches. Boom, go.
Yep. Yeah. How you handling those? And then after that, it's like just straight, hello.
Bijoning. Yeah. I saw one GM from the original contest that was a Bijan plus Amin-Ra. I only saw one, and it was John Boy Beats. And
that team had to have ended with Ritter.
It did, because the only way you can get it is with the first 3 quarterbacks go off the board.
Yep.
Just goes QB in a recreational room, and then you just tap it at 4-5.
Yeah, I wonder how he finished that.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably
that's interesting. I hope so.
No. Yeah, I hope for our sake, I hope so. Okay, here becomes really interesting conversation. So we can try and get ahead at quarterback, or we can play chicken with the recreationals, which rarely ends well. If I'm just brand new contest, I like Ridley and I like Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brand new contest where you can just like throw everything out the window. Just pick the best play right here. No leverage needed. You like Aaron Jones 1v1 versus Calvin Ridley and Jahmyr Gibbs tonight?
I do. Yeah. Aaron Jones is like with Watson on a snap count, supposedly.
Yep.
Aaron Jones should be a major part of this offense. I'm thinking like 12 touches minimum for Aaron Jones tonight. I still love that this offensive line. This should be a pretty damn good game at home. 45 total, slight favorites.
Okay.
Aaron, it's got Aaron Jones' name written all over it. But
Okay.
hamstrings are. I am like in the back of my mind, and I'm not giving this enough weight as I probably should. Hamstrings are like scary, and that the way that he kind of pulled up on that touchdown when he did pull his hammy, I don't know. It just really, it's like scarred in my mind. Like, oh god
A
damn.
little bit of heaves. Yeah.
Oh, he really just immediately grabbed that thing.
Thinking through some potential plays here.
I think. Well, it depends like on what this.
Yeah, we're at his mercy right here. We're at his mercy.
100%. Because if he takes a QB, we got to just capitulate. Mm-hmm. I think, despite everything that I said, coping with Ritter. I mean, okay, cool.
Okay, so is this a love team or a Goff team?
Right now, it's a love team, and it probably finishes as a love team.
So should we take Ingram then?
Ingram or London, yeah.
Okay.
Because I think you can take, like, you might be fortunate enough to be left with Dobbs and Reed as your wide receivers. Because like I'm okay with that.
Can we go
in this?
Yeah, and you'd be comfortable doing like a 4-way Green Bay with no run back, as you alluded to earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I like thinking through the build constructions in the same way in which you think of like showdown lineups in DFS, where it's like, okay, the 1-5 or the 5-1 with the underdog is only going to be owned at like 4% frequency. Well, like what's that look like in our contest? It doesn't port as cleanly when you have 2 game slates, and yeah, when you have 2 game slates, but yeah. We could take London and push it. I mean, I don't think we ever get it back.
Fuck.
Love plus Jones.
Dude, you got to do London here, and like if you get
just see what happens.
If you get Ritter, it's not even like that bad because you are pairing him with like 2 electric playmakers. You have to do. Yeah. You almost have to do London there.
And it's kind of like the thesis we had before, where it was like if you're stuck with. Like people get stuck with Ritter, and the Ritter teams look different than the other teams look because people are building out, Detroit, building out Green Bay. People are thinking that way.
Yes, and then they get stuck with like a naked Ritter.
Right. Like whereas like now we built a Ritter team, and if we end up with Ritter, it's great. If we end up with Love, it's great because. Yeah. You can just tack on Reed to go with it, or you don't even have to, and you just play that game through Aaron Jones, and you add a lion into this, and you take like Cleef Raymond or Josh Reynolds or something. Mm-hmm. It's a weird slate because it's not very scrolly anymore now that you have Jones in and like the tight end pool is so deep. It's not a very scrolly slate.
No, these offenses for the most part are like not exciting. But they're they are concentrated. There is that. And I say that, watch us get like a Brock Wright touchdown or a who the hell is the tight end 2 in Green Bay touchdown? Like now that I just cursed
his name right now. Yeah, starts with D.
There goes
this guy,
Josiah. Yeah. All right, so who's our wide receiver 2?
Okay, so Love goes there. Wow, look at all the tight ends left here.
Yeah.
It's either Wicks or Josh Reynolds, and I think you're just better off with like the run back Josh Reynolds.
I think so too.
Unless you want to double stack Ritter and take Mac Hollins.
You could do Mac Hollins.
All right, fine.
Do Mac Hollins, like whatever.
We're doing Mac Hollins. Eat only salad good things with his happen. Bare hands. Eat salad with his bare hands. Let's go.
Only good things happen when you take Mac Hollins. That's
this is
rule.
This is the Desmond Ritter. This is not financial advice, where you set up a triple stack with the team that is the lowest pass volume team over the last 2 years, and you just go, fuck it. They're airing it out. today. Like, it just makes no sense.
3 tutties for Ritter.
3 tutties
one to
300
Bijan,
yards.
1 to Drake London, and 1 himself. With a little high step and a ball flip. He's going to be feeling himself.
Yeah.
In London.
I like this. I like this Khalif Raymond show. Khalif Raymond. I don't know. Khalif Raymond just feels like. I think that's how we end the show, Nez. We got to end the show with the scroll the F down guys who at the back end can matter and or break a slate that nobody's touching right now.
It literally stops at Tank Bigsby.
See, that's what we say this every time. And then who scores? Jerome Ford. Olamide Zaccheaus. Who scores, right? Like football's a weird game. I would say Zonovan Knight and Craig Reynolds are just like out of my player pool now that we got the Montgomery news, right? So that's like
100%.
That's me. AJ Dillon's being like incredibly disrespected by the field based on his most recent performance. I think he stinks at football. That doesn't mean coming back from a hamstring that AJ Dillon doesn't out snap or out touch, especially rush attempts, Aaron Jones. It's range outcomes tonight. He could get 11 carries and fall into the end zone once and matter.
That's very true.
Yeah. CPAT could come back and some weird little slot dump off on 30% of snaps. He finds his way into the end zone with like some electric play that only he can pull off as this like hybrid guy. But that one is probably the thinnest for me. Tank fell into the end zone last week. Why can't he do it again? Ernest played more snaps than Tank both the last 2 weeks. Why can't he do something? It's so thin, but those are the scroll the F down guys. I would fade this Reynolds and Zonovan tier. Yeah, you got anyone else you want to add at running back?
No, I think you covered everything.
Okay, well, I love covering the bases of this because it's
it's just like
right?
I know, like I can't like even like there's nobody else I can possibly suggest.
Wicks downgrade with Christian Watson coming back, but one little aggravation, he comes back into that starting lineup, or they're down 14 early and they just go like that. I don't know. Wicks has scored touchdowns this year. He had a multi-touchdown game, if I do not remember. Oh, he had one called back. That's what it was. But it looked like he scored in 2 games. He actually only scored once. Jamal Agnew eating up some of that Zay Jones stuff. Marvin Jones is dust, and he's done, and it's the end of the line. I just don't even think he gets a target tonight. Yeah, I just don't think he gets a target tonight. I'm not scrolling that far, but he's a professional wide receiver, and Josh Reynolds got nothing last week. What if there's a little flippening on their mind back there that, okay, Josh Reynolds isn't it? We're going with Marvin Jones tonight.
That's the thing, man. It's just like everybody's like written off Marvin Jones, and for good reason. But I mean, what does Marvin Jones do? Like he catches deep balls and scores touchdowns on them. But we're looking at 29% routes last week, and where Khalif Raymond ran 56 and Antoine Green ran 15%. Yeah, he's done.
Antoine Green, baby. The ones that are my favorite at the wide receiver position, who are like kind of feel like that Olamide like might break the slate if they just have a scramble job, get open, and then turn on the burners. It's Mac Hollins and Khalif Raymond, right?
Yeah. That's
yeah.
Firmly.
And then
your boy Tim Jones, dude. You got me like.
Tim Jones is in play. He's in play.
Might do a little redacted and put Tim Jones in a showdown.
There you go. He's probably 200.
Oh, he's definitely 200.
Yeah. And then the wide receiver position, I assume Musgrave went with the last pick there, or the tight end position rather. The Jonnu, we said it off the top. He's outscored Pitts 2 straight weeks. Maybe they designed something for him in the red zone, and it's the play fake to Bijan, dump off to Jonnu, and he's the tight end you need. And you could say the same for Brock Wright. And then I'm kind of not even scrolling beyond that.
No, I'm not. And I wouldn't recommend anybody else do either.
Yeah. I mean, you could, sell me this pen a little bit, but You're literally just looking for the one-off touchdown, and nobody else breaks the slate at tight end. And I think it was more viable on the previous slate where tight end looked really bearish, but this looks like a decent 2-game tight end slate. So
It actually
I don't
does,
think
yeah.
that's the way to go on this one. All right.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. Yeah. Strange. Yeah, I remember Chipsy was talking about Strange in the BBM season and how they liked him in camp and stuff like that. Don't think I forget, yeah, here's it's a name. He was playing the routes last week when
Yeah.
Watson wasn't there. So good shouts from everybody. Yeah, I don't know. This is I think last slate was more fun. I think this slate is really fun because you're going to wake up Sunday morning and have a little sweat that fuels the rest of your Sunday.
Exactly.
So I think maybe what we lacked in player value on this slate comparative to the last one, the skill position players are pretty good on this slate, not to mention, but it's kind of hard to go from like the Eagles one and the Bengals and like that on a 2-gamer to this.
Yeah. If only the Vikings could replace like one of Jacksonville or Atlanta, then like we'd really be cooking. But
right, yeah.
Just unfortunately, they're not there.
Any parting words, my friend?
No, we'll see you tomorrow though on Off and On the Clock with Peter Overzet on the Underdog Daily channel. If you're not over there and subbed, go ahead and sub. On our last Off and On the Clock from last week, if you comment on that video, we are giving away money to the Deposit Kingdom merch shop. So go ahead and do that. Once we hit 1K subs on Off and On the Clock, we're going to that video and we're picking somebody to win money. Whoever leaves a comment in there. So go ahead and do that. If you have not yet, that's my spiel. I'm done.
That's a good spiel. I'll add 2 more things to that. Not playing on Underdog Fantasy, promo code MLB at sign up. 100% match deposit up to $500 USD. Limited time offer. Probably not going to stretch much further than, if I just had to guess, mid-October, maybe early
I can't even
October.
confirm that it's still live. So get in there.
You're missing out. And then please do us a favor, hit that like, that subscribe, that notification. Shout out to Roofing Man, who's been jamming all the time. Shout out to T-Box for becoming members today, joining the channel. And shout out to the emo cowboy, Tyler, NASA's finest, with a little whole talk there. Best of luck to everyone tonight, and best of luck to Neumy on the golf course. I am John. That is Nez. And this is everybody's favorite time on the show. The end. Peace. Are you wearing your ring?
Dude, every time we on the show, I throw the ring on.